Hello and welcome to my review of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and this will be a relatively short review, I guess. And well, the game is, in my opinion, really good. I will get to that in a later point of this review, and I hope you enjoy watching this video, and hopefully you might leave a like and maybe subscribe if you want to. But it's not about the numbers, it's mostly about bringing information of games and spreading the joy of gaming, to be completely honest. And well, this will be a review of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, as earlier said, and well, enjoy watching. And well, there's improvements over earlier Assassin's Creed games, and a lot of things that I like about it, but that'll be in a later point.
Kiros of Zarax. Hermes sent me.
That keymaker is predictable. I'll give him that much.
So at the beginning of the game you get to choose between Alexios and Cassandra, male or female. I've picked a female character because most of the times women are more, in tune with their emotions and can show them better. So for that reason I chose Cassandra. But you could also choose Alexios, and it's not really related to the story of whatever character you pick. It'll be the same story, different names and different voice actors and character models. That's just it. And yeah, so the plot itself is relatively, well, it takes many branches, but it's mostly linear and understandable, and it's actually quite good.
Let's make this quick. You said this is going to
The character development in the game is really good. You start off as a mercenary, and well, you get to see what happens in the end. So I will recommend this game for the story. And the world itself in this game is really good. Like, a lot of things have lore, and there's different additions to the lore, and you get to enjoy the Greek world. But in these particular clips you will see me playing the first episode of the second DLC, and it was fun. The voice acting, the additions to the lore, all that somehow clips in well with the game itself, and it fits very well. And well, the combat, some of the combat might not be historically accurate, but if you play it for what it is, an RPG game, you will enjoy it. And as you can see in this DLC clip, you get a fair decent amount of new lore on the Isu
That's all of them.
or
Let's keep
precursors
moving.
from earlier games, the
Adonis hears my
people
plan,
who made the
maybe
apples
he'll stand down.
of
Hurry,
Eden
Kiros.
and
We need to get back to Hermes.
pieces of Eden
Persephone
and
might
all
suspect
that
something.
fun
I
stuff.
hear Persephone
It's
likes to
very
test her new recruits.
fun,
And I've got a bit of a temper.
and I would
If you
recommend
see
this
me turning
story.
right,
I'll think of something.
I don't think there's a novelization or a novel
Let's go.
of the game,
Yeah!
but if there is, maybe pick it up and read it if you don't want to play the game. But it's an enjoyable game with proper depth to the world and new plot elements and very fun. It plays a lot like Assassin's Creed Origins, but there's no blocking and hidden plate, but
Move!
there is, well, the Spear of Leonidas, which is your de facto hidden plate used in assassinations and special moves, some specific special moves that utilize that, and it has, well, lore to it as well, more depth to the world, as said earlier. And there is a lot of different weapons there, and
Where have you been?
the controls
No
are
one keeps
a lot
Persephone waiting.
smoother than Origins in my opinion, and they feel a lot better
Got
and more
complicated. We took a less direct
refined
route.
is what I'm trying to
matters,
say here.
Hermes, is I'm free
And
thanks to you. When I go to
there
my
is
queen,
a
I will
part
make sure
of the
she's
game,
grateful
basically a mini game or
my service.
side quest thing called the
Explain it to
War
Persephone. She's waiting.
or
I'll make sure
War,
she knows this was entirely my fault, not
and
yours.
it's, you know, either Spartan or Athenian, and you get reward for doing
I'm sorry I
that
was
kind
ungrateful.
of quest and
Kiros will make a strong
the
guard.
main battle part
you
of it
again,
as
friend.
well.
Here, Hermes.
Keeper,
In some
I've been robbed.
places there will be a mercenary that you have to kill there before you can do the war thing and
These are
take
dark
over a
times for
region,
Elysium. Those delinquent
and
fools
that
have robbed
leads
even
to
me.
the mercenary
What did they
system,
take?
which in my opinion
I
is
fashioned the
a
key,
very good
a
idea.
recipe, if
You
will,
get
for an
perks
eternal flame. I
and
intended to
boosts
gift it to Persephone.
for certain
With it,
things,
she could shine.
like blacksmith costs get reduced
An eternal flame could bring
and
order to this chaos.
whatnot.
You understand her burden better than you let
The
on.
combat mechanics are a lot
Enduring her
smoother than
sacrifice,
Origins, and
Persephone
they
keeps
seem
us safe.
more
In
So
built
what
for
I
this
wrote
type of
took life.
game, and
I'll
it's,
take a
These are
I said
ah,
well, fun. And they brought back something
find
very
it.
amazing, and that's ships. And I really did enjoy it, and as you can see, the new skill system is very good. Overwhelming at first, but once you get used to it, it's very good, very innovative, and well, you get to choose what skill you use and what skill you don't use, and it's fairly fun to experiment around with different skills and different abilities. And it's, well, some are very good, some are not as good, and they also brought back naval battles like Black Flag, and I really enjoyed that part, and it also even has importance to the plot, like some of the story parts in the main game and the DLC needs the ship, and it's fairly fun boarding and basically, you know, doing naval battle against either nation, Sparta or Athens, depending on your favorite system. As you can see, I'm more biased towards the Spartans. once you fit your ship, it starts as decently weak, but you can upgrade it and make it a lot stronger, and if you're lucky, you can unlock new skins for your ship, and the plot is very fun, especially when it comes to sailing around in missions. Oh, and my favorite part is just ramming through ships. Going full speed, ramming through ships, that's a very fun part of the game. The game either takes place in land or in water, either ship or boots on the ground. And it's fairly evident, but if you really like the Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you might very well enjoy this game. It's like a mixture of Assassin's Creed Origins and, well, Assassin's Creed Black Flag gameplay mechanics, or even Assassin's Creed game. And the ship controls are a lot better than, well, both games with ships, and it's a lot of fun sailing around, exploring ancient Greek waters and battling enemy ships. It's part of the game, and I love that part of the game a lot. And hopefully you might love it as well, because I really like this game a lot. I have platinum on full dedication to platinum. That's a part of my personal bias showing up here, but mostly gameplay wise it's very good. It's going back to the old days of Black Flags and raiding ships and whatnot. Having fun. So that's about it. So the new combat system is a major improvement over previous games like, as earlier said, Assassin's Creed Origins, since they took what they learned from that game and put it there, improving a lot of the shortcomings of that earlier game, and definitely a massive improvement over Assassin's Creed Unity, which was botched beyond, repair. The new combat system has a bit of a difficulty curve with different weapon types like spears, axes, and swords and daggers. And the heavy blunt weapon like staffs and whatnot. So there is some, learning to it, but mostly you get the hang of it after a couple of hours, and those 4 or 5 different type of weapons and the addition of stealth and archery elements and abilities such as improved assassinations or stronger hits, or my favorite, the Spartan kick. They come into play, and the difficulty curve is different from other games. And there is no blocking, but if you are very good with timing things, you can parry and do a little bit of increased damage while your enemy is staggered a bit. And you have a full equipment menu where you can customize the looks of your armor without the stats being changed, which is amazing. You can have the best stats and the looks,
I see it.
and up. It's very good. Like in other games, you get a very cool item, and it has quite unreasonably bad stats. But here, as you can see, the armor's different, but I am wearing a different skin for it. So it's very good. And you can, well, definitely upgrade your gears and add new perks to them, like a sword being on fire and arrows being on fire and whatnot. So there's that as well, and there's also poison and different stat boosts that you can add on weapons and armor. It's definitely very good.
This looks like the scribbles of
And earlier said that the skill system's
Where's the rest of it?
a major improvement. The spear can be upgraded by hunting down cultists, which in itself is a very fun side quest slash main quest. There's, I don't know how many you have to kill for the actual end of the game to be good, but I killed them all before completing the main quest line. Like in Origins, you chase down the Cult of Chaos and whatnot. It's your choice to either beat it without killing all of them or killing absolutely all of them, like no survivors kind of situation. Unlike Origins, which skipped a lot of them unwillingly through cutscenes, which was a little disappointing and one of the main reasons why I didn't enjoy Origins as much. And in terms of the differences between this game and Origins is the ease of travel. It's a lot easier to travel around than reaching new places like an island. Instead of either a camel ride or horse ride, you can either take your ship with you or ride through the land, which is a pretty good option. It's a fairly good improvement over the older games. And the loadout system, it's very useful, like changing between your clothes that give extra damage in assassination or armor that helps fighting enemies, like extra damage and whatnot. Well, it's all there. RPG style, and as I said, they took what they learned from Origins and put it out there and improved it, refined it. And it's pretty good. If you play it for yourself, you might feel a little different, but overall enjoyable gameplay and good improvements. I would say good job, Ubisoft. Like many AAA games that were very highly publicized, there was unfortunately a couple of controversial moments, like the addition of mythical creatures like Cyclopes and Minotaur and Medusa and those kinds of creatures. And a lot of people said that it wasn't the Assassin's Creed spirit, which I agree with some of the statements, but that's a can of worms that I'm not gonna open. And with every game there will always be conservative people and less open-minded people that oppose a certain worldview and support others. Like there was a minor controversy of same-sex relations, and you know the standard Ubisoft buggy launch that was also a part of it, and a lot of people disliked the game when it first launched. But yeah, unfortunate things always happen for reasons unknown. Well, that's about the controversial things as far as I know. And now to some good things. There was a fairly recent update with the legacy outfit of Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Assassin's Creed Revelations. That character was very well liked by the fans, and they added his outfit, and that's a fairly good thing. And there was a horse skin that was free, and it was a gift. And the DLC wasn't too highly marketed probably because I wasn't really following around with Assassin's Creed at the point. But I believe there wasn't a lot of marketing and whatnot of the DLC, but as you can see, I have bought both DLCs and I've been enjoying them. And that would be it for both controversial and, well, the good things that happened there. So this will be, well, this has taken a while for me to make, since, you know, I've been struggling a bit with personal life matters. But I've absolutely enjoyed playing this game. The soundtrack is amazing, the gameplay is amazing, the new systems are fun. It's a great game in my opinion. I absolutely loved it, and I hope you will also love it as well. I have a bit over 100 hours in this current main save that you are watching, and I have 2 other saves with less than maybe 10 hours. It's a very good job of Ubisoft, a company that I would very rarely praise over something like this. It's very similar to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and which is probably why it took over the top of my favorite Assassin's Creed list. Great voice acting and excellent casting. Most of the characters were had their Greek-speaking voice actors, which also added to the immersion of the game. But you know, in my opinion, it's an absolute must-buy, if not at least, you know, try it if a friend has made it available for you to try. And that would be it for this review, and I hope you have thoroughly enjoyed watching this. If so, write down in the comments of what you think about the game, if you've played it, and well, why not make a top 3 list of your favorite Assassin's Creed games down there. And you know, we'll see what happens, well, how different people like different games. And To be absolutely honest, this channel was made with the purpose of spreading gaming as wide as possible, especially here in Greenland, since a lot of people only play on their mobile phones or, you know, second-hand bought games and mostly free games and, you know, without a story or anything. So in order to encourage a bit of, you know, searching for games and, you know, bringing good games to life, I made this channel, and hopefully you will be there in the future when I review another game, different game. I have 2 planned reviews and one maybe. And well, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. It's up to you. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed this and have a nice week.